Welcome to the protocols. What are we doing here? Protocol Fellowship Town Hall for the sixth cohort of the Protocol Fellowship. Thanks all for joining us. My name is Josh, and this is Mario, and we coordinate the Protocol Fellowship. And we're going to spend some time today just chatting about what the fellowship is, how you can get involved, and what the process is for participating. And then we will open up the floor for people to ask questions. You can go ahead and ask your questions in the comments there in YouTube, and we will see them and answer them either as they come in or more likely at the end of the presentation here. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started with the presentation here. And Mario, I'll let you go ahead and take it away.
Very well. I hope you can all hear me. Thank you so much for the intro, Josh, and thank you so much all of you for joining to learn more about the Protocol Fellowship. I hope many of you are interested in participating in the fellowship, and that's why you're here. So we are here to answer some questions. But first, just to give a brief introduction about what is the core protocol, and then what the actual fellowship does. How do I control the slides?
Yeah, if you just hover over the screen, there should be some arrows there. That
no, I don't have arrows.
You don't have that. Hold on one second. No. All right. Well, we'll see if.
Let me try to. Sorry about that. We try to share the slides myself then. But yeah, meanwhile, waiting maybe for more people to join. I think, yeah, it is already up. So the fellowship is focused on core development. We are here to ask you to become core developers. We got a couple of memes in the presentation. So yeah, now I can do it with my slides. If you can somehow put my, yeah, perfect. Yeah, this works for me very well. So so first, to talk about what is Ethereum. Do you have any thoughts on what is Ethereum? Feel free to write in comments. I wonder, like, people interested in the protocol work, what would you consider Ethereum to be, like, with one word? Whether Ethereum is a blockchain or something more abstract, whether it's love and future, and or its applications. Let us know, what do you think that Ethereum is, like a little poll. I'm curious, but my answer, speaking about Ethereum, would be that it's the core protocol. The most tangible part of Ethereum would be the actual nodes, the actual software that's running the network, right? The network doesn't run itself. It's some computers running some very specific software, which we are working on as a part of the core protocol. Evolution is a great answer. Okay, cool. Ethereum is evolution, and well, Protocol Fellowship helps to evolve it by working on new features, new parts of the clients. Yeah, World Computer, a great answer. Yeah, and so all of this cool stuff that Ethereum does runs on the core protocol. So the core developers are people working to maintain and upgrade it, to evolve it, to push it further, to make sure that it stays secure, that it runs smoothly, and it becomes more diverse, more decentralized. So again, what does this mean is maintaining the client implementations. The When I talk about the tangible part of Ethereum, you could also talk about specification, right? So that's another part where the protocol, the network is specified exactly how it's supposed to work, and then it's implemented, it's programmed in various languages and different clients. So we have like 6 execution clients, 6 consensus clients. They come together and create the Ethereum node. And these upgrades, this evolution happens by proposed EIPs, Ethereum Improvement Proposal. So it's a whole like a community process, which ends with prototyping, testing, and implementing these new features in the clients themselves. So really, the core of the Ethereum is this 12 maybe client implementations, but also the tooling around it and the prototypes that help to push it further, and the testing to keep it secure, the specs that define it. And right now, I would say there is over 200 people working on this. In the Protocol Guild itself, which is an organization that gathers a bunch of these core contributors, there is 188 people, but together with some people that are missing there or work on similar things, I would say there's at least 200 people distributed across these many teams. It mentions 20 plus teams, which is many client teams, and then also the testing, the DevOps, the people who help to maintain the infrastructure, and the specification and the research. So there is a ton of stuff, ton of different parts of the core protocol. And if you think about it this way, it's not that many people. I mean, 200 is much more than maybe any other blockchain or some decent sized project, but still, it's the individual clients, the individual teams that need help, new contributors. And generally, we want to have more people who understand the protocol, who are able to work on it, and therefore somehow distribute the knowledge, right? Make it, again, more decentralized, more more maintainable and secure as more people know about the complexities of the protocol. And to be more exact, like why we are here, the Protocol Fellowship, when we talk about focus on core protocol, that's really what we mean. Again, the specification, defining mathematically in Python how the different functions of the protocol are supposed to behave, the execution clients that implement the user-facing side, the execution environment where the transactions happen, where the state is that wallets interact with, the consensus that maintains the gas per the fork choice, right? That decides on the head of the block where the validators are handled, and then the testing to make it all secure, to keep it running, and the research that proposes these new EIPs, this new feature. This is everything that the core protocol is. There are many things that people ask us about, and we need to be clear that these are not parts of the protocol. That's the application layer, right? So the application layer is not part of the core protocol. That's not what the Protocol Fellowship is focused on. If you are working on smart contract development, for example, that's the application layer. That's the higher level of the of Ethereum, or even compilers, even something like in between, I would not consider part of the protocol unless it touches something in the clients themselves. So as a few examples here are like some applications, or even those languages, or even layer 2s. Layer 2s are built on top of Ethereum. They are not part of the core protocol themselves. They somehow copy the infrastructure. They build on top of it. They might work with core developers for like some improvements, but those touch the core protocol themselves. It's a different layer, right? So we talk about the L1. If I should use this kind of name, we talk about the L1 layer of Ethereum itself, and the stuff under the hood, right? Again, to be more specific, so what we focus on here is low-level development, the actual software, the actual clients that run the network. As I mentioned, the smart contract programming, or maybe some like front-end dApps, that's high level, right? That's something that connects to this backend that we talk about, and this backend is the Ethereum client. So we talk about like backend client software architecture, which are languages like Go, Rust, Java. There is C Sharp, .NET, there is NIM, and there is also TypeScript. In some clients, and specifications are in Python. So these are the languages that we generally work with. The core developers are people proficient experience with this sort of programming, more like system level languages. We don't talk about here about Solidity, about smart contracts, or anything like that. The clients, and I would say the big distinction, if you're coming from maybe the smart contract development, would be that if you're building some application on top of Ethereum, you're responsible for users of the application, right? The security for those users and the infrastructure for the people who decide to use your application. But the core development secures all of the applications, all of the users, all of the platform, right? So that's it's much more responsibility. It's many ways maybe more demanding or more complicated, but also can be very approachable if you take the path that we are helping to create here. It comes with certain responsibilities, but it's very different in nature than maybe applications, or especially like Web 2 or some like traditional corporate jobs, or proprietary software, because it's very ethos driven, very cooperative. So these clients that I mentioned, there is like 12 different clients built by, I don't know, 10 different organizations, and each of them kind of implements the same thing, kind of competes, but it's not a real competition. They work together. The core developers from all across different teams come together to learn from each other, to work together towards the same goal. So it's very friendly, cooperative, open space instead of some competition and so on. So that's I think it's a very interesting place to be in. And yeah, so we are building this platform. I think that's the exciting part, that we are really building, securing this platform itself that everyone builds on. All of these applications, all of these users, and so are built on top of the platform that we help to create here. So in this example, there is a highway here. So we are builders of the highway, which might be kind of boring job, but comes with a lot of design, with a lot of technical considerations, a lot of skill to make it precise. So then you can have fancy cars on that highway that can go fast without hitting potholes and so on. So what we are building towards is the roadmap, right? There is no single roadmap of Ethereum. There are a bunch of things that are being worked on, that are being considered, and also there are new ideas coming in all the time. So that's why it's so lively. That's why we need more people to put their attention towards working on the protocol, because there is always something to do. There is so many different exciting parts. You see this like overview of different. It's all already outdated, I think, but there are a bunch of different boxes that represent different challenges, different features of the protocol, and many of them are. Coming from like different parts of computer science. So really like you can find your niche and spend like months or years working on a single box of all of these different problematics, and then help to ship it as a part of the protocol. It takes a lot of benchmarking, prototyping, figuring out like what is the most optimal way to implement this. And the roadmap right now would be maybe around 50-60% done. There is so much more ideas that can help to improve the whole network coming, and I think it's very exciting to be able to work on this to make it happen. The goal with ossified Ethereum, with some Ethereum being really done. That's a cool goal that we are working towards. Yeah, and we help to make this happen with the Protocol Fellowship and also the Protocol Study Group. And these are two different programs. The protocol study group already finished. It's active for like 2 months in a year. It's like a community of people that learn together that finished, but all the materials are available, and especially they're available for you if you're interested in starting the protocol fellowship, which starts later. The applications are open now, but that's the place that provides materials for you to learn about the protocol and then work on it in the fellowship. And this distinction, these programs will be better explained by Josh, I guess, if you want to jump in on this.
All right. Thanks, Mario, for that intro into what the protocol is. I'm going to talk about the two different programs that we work with in order to. Oh, guess we'll do this here. All right, there we go. That we do to sort of onboard people into working on the core protocol. The first of them we'll talk about is the protocol study group, which just finished up about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, maybe at this point. And what it is, the protocol fellowship study group is an opportunity for us to bridge the knowledge gap for people who are interested in learning about the core protocol. The resources about Ethereum are like notoriously widespread across the internet in random blogs and forums and Twitter posts and all of these different places. And so the goal of the study group is to consolidate some of those resources as well as bring together a community of people who are interested in learning about the core protocol and how Ethereum it works. So the program is designed with a series of lectures, basically live video sessions as well as recorded video sessions that from previous cohorts. We are up to about 24 sessions right now, each of them being 90 plus or minus minute online classes, each presented by a developer or researcher in the L1 space. Each of these lessons includes a pre-reading and some of them include a post-class learnings and projects that you can work on in order to enhance the knowledge that you've gained from that. We focus on all parts of the core protocol, so the consensus layer, execution layer, the bits in between, and state-of-the-art research. Additionally, we are co-creating a wiki for people who are interested in learning about the protocol. So it's a consolidated and collaborative knowledge base meant to not only provide information to people who are looking for information about the protocol, but also to solidify the knowledge that people have gained inside of the fellowship, or sorry, inside of the study group. So, you know, it's often said that the best way to really know that you know something is by teaching, and so being able to contribute to the wiki is a great way to enhance that bit of knowledge that you've gained through the study group. So yeah, as I mentioned, we look at all bits of the Ethereum protocol. We're talking about the overall design of the protocol, both the execution and consensus layer, looking at like the different architecture of different clients, the specs and implementations, as well as the different networking protocols and data structures, all of these different bits and bobs here. We also look at testing methods and the tooling to do the testing, and then also current research and where Ethereum is headed with upcoming upgrades and the roadmap generally, as Mario was speaking about earlier. As I mentioned, the study group just finished about 2 weeks ago, and it is a space where you can just go ahead and jump in. All the videos are curated into a curriculum that make it easy for somebody to kind of just watch them and learn about the protocol. We are also in the process of turning it into a more course-like asynchronous bit, so that if you want, it can be your sort of one-stop shop for learning about Ethereum. And so that will take me to the Protocol Fellowship. Is the program that we have opened applications for about the middle of last week, and will remain open until April 30th. And we'll talk a little bit more about what that is now. So if the study group is like the Schelling point for learning about the protocol, the protocol fellowship is that for actually making contributions. So the protocol fellowship is meant to make the process of becoming a core contributor or developer or researcher easier. It's often said that Ethereum is a wide open door. All you have to do is step through it, and the protocol fellowship is maybe your handhold or your kick through that open door. Uh, this will be the fourth cohort that we have done in this manner of the Protocol Fellowship, but there were two original cohorts that were under the name Core Developer Apprentice Program, started by Piper Merriam of the Portal Network. So we've sort of taken that over from him a few years ago. But basically, the program is designed to mimic the experience of a core developer. So it's a very self-directed program. You're able to choose what you want to work on. We focus on, allowing you to sort of find your own way through this process. But not only that, but we want to help you to learn what it's like to continue to basically communicate your work to the outside world through these written technical updates. And then we have mentorship as well for those people who join the fellowship. Coordination happens through GitHub. The GitHub repositories there, ETH-protocol-fellows, as well as a Discord, the ETH R&D Discord server. And then we also have two weekly stand-up meetings. One is sort of your traditional stand-up where we talk about what you've been working on. And then we also have a weekly office hours, which usually looks like an interview or an AMA with a current client dev or researcher. The program is permissionless, which means that anybody is welcome to participate. And join in making contributions. Some of the benefits that you can expect when participating in the Protocol Fellowship. The main one that we always hear when we interview fellows that are exiting the program is that they are excited to have met and been introduced to the developer community, the different mentors and others working on Ethereum. We also offer a semi-structured process. So while we expect you to, sort of guide yourself through this process and do your own research on a lot of things, we do offer this semi-structured process through the stand-ups and through the developer updates to sort of, kind of hold your hand through this process until you get comfortable with making some of these contributions. Additionally, you're able to work on what you're passionate about. Again, we offer this mentorship as well as a financial stipend to those who are selected through the application process. We finished up the last cohort, the fifth cohort, in November of last year with an EPF day at DevCon in Bangkok. And you can just kind of see some of the numbers there of what took place during that fifth cohort. So we had a significant number of applications, and we ended up accepting 20 of those applications to officially be part of the program. But then we also had 25 permissionless participants come on board, completing around 30 different projects. And yeah, you can see some of these other numbers there. And I'm not going to go over all of these projects, but this is a list of some of the projects that were completed or are in progress uh, from the fifth cohort. If you'd like to read more about that, we recently posted a blog at blog.ethereum.org about the fifth cohort recap, so you can get some more information around, the projects that those fellows were working on. So, how does the Ethereum Protocol Fellowship work? Here is a brief timeline. We've got it listed out in three different phases, with phase one focusing on finding the project that you're interested in working on and then creating a project proposal. Uh, After that, we will invite fellows to present their projects in person at ETCC in Cannes this year. After the project proposals are complete, we'll move to phase two, which is the implementation phase and the majority of the program, where you'll be working on your project. You'll be writing those weekly development updates. You'll be, getting feedback from mentors and other fellows in the program, as well as participating in the weekly stand-ups and AMAs. And then at the end of the program, we have phase three, which is the presentation phase, where you'll wrap up your project. You'll create a final project presentation where you'll then present that project at DevConnect in Argentina and Buenos Aires this year. So if you are interested in joining EPF, we are looking for candidates that have a technical foundation. In the past, this program is focused a little bit more on um, giving a leg up to candidates who maybe were really excited about Ethereum but didn't necessarily have as much technical foundation or software engineering capabilities. This year, we're going to be focusing on bringing in more experienced software developers. So that's what we're really looking for this time around: people who have a strong technical foundation and are able to write low level code. But additionally, it's important to have strong written and verbal communication skills. I mentioned also that this program is very self-directed, so it's important that you are able to be self-motivated to participate in the program, uh, and also being interested in low-level architecture and those languages. Uh, and then also having some passion for Ethereum and blockchain decentralized ledgers in general. Again, here are some strong signals that we'll be looking for. It's really important to have a well-written application. Your application is really the only opportunity we have to get a peek into who you are. So the more you're able to get across to us your experience and your excitement around this program, um, through your application, the better. We are looking for people who have, around 3+ years of software development experience. Ideally, this is, lower level languages, networking, stuff like this, less about, you know, writing a few Solidity apps or this sort of thing. Um, we look for active GitHub accounts and definitely accounts that have open source contributions. Strong signal is having attended the protocol study group. Um, yeah, so applications are open now. Uh, you can see them at the blog post at blog.ethereum.org. It should be the most recent one, but also I believe you can see that at epf.wiki as well. So yeah, go ahead and visit EPF Wiki and study some of the cohort details there. Take your time to submit your application. They are open for the next 9 days until April 30th. And then generally the program will be beginning in June and run through mid-November. There is the QR code for the application. If you would like to take a moment to screenshot that or grab the application link. And then some other QR codes we have. Top left is the protocol studies GitHub. Top middle is a Google group used mainly for communicating about applications being open. We do about 2 to 3 maybe communications per year. Uh, the top right is the study group Discord, a great place to have communication and conversation around the different parts of the protocol. And then at the bottom there is EPF.wiki. So thanks for taking some time to listen to our presentation. Looks like we've got a decent amount um, of questions in the comments. And if you have more as we are uh, answering questions, please feel free to uh, ask more in the comments. But let's see what we got here. Your email mentioned that you will be focusing more towards experienced software engineers. Is there room for beginners with math background? Generally, we would encourage anybody who's interested to apply. Um, However, if you don't have any software engineering experience, it's probably unlikely that you'll be selected for that position, unless you are a high level academic that has a math background and has some experience in doing some of this blockchain research style stuff. Next question is how to make a good application for the fellowship if you don't have open source contributions but have worked on personal projects. You don't have to have open source contributions. It is a good signal for us to hear or to see on your application if you have these open source contributions, but it's not a requirement by any means. So if you do have other projects that you've worked on that you can point to or just describe and talk about in your application, those are also great things. So it doesn't have to be an open source thing. It is just something that we look at as another signal because Ethereum is an open source project and there is a difference in contributing to open source projects than there is to your traditional Web2 or closed source projects. It's just a different kind of development experience. Is there a step between the study group and the fellowship, or is the fellowship the step between learner and real contributor? There isn't an official step in between these two. If I were to say something about this, I would say that the step in between is looking at gfi.bordel.wtf. And this is a site that Mario and I put together that pulls all the good first issues from all the different repositories around Ethereum. So different clients and the architecture and the testing infrastructure. So that would be a good place to put some of the knowledge that you've gained in the study group to the test by working on some of these good first issues. Good first issues are usually these things that are not as complex or complicated and are easier for somebody who is just starting to make contributions to do that in that manner. How many are we accepting at this time? We don't really have a number that we are trying to hit necessarily. We're really looking to find the cream of the application pool and accept as many of them as we can. It typically tends to look like in between 15 and 30 in the previous cohorts, but we will likely not be accepting that higher limit this time as we are looking to look for people who have a little bit more software engineering skills this time around. I'm going to let Mario take this one, but I'll read the question. I'm curious about the selection process for applicants. How many people are selected, and can someone still participate if they're not chosen?
Yeah, thanks, Josh, and thanks for the question. Right, so as Josh said, we are aiming on 15, 20-ish people, but we will accept anyone who has the required skills, who really impresses us, that convinces us that they can work on the core protocol. So uh, just feel free to apply. Don't worry about the limits there. But even if you're not selected, that just means that you are not receiving the stipend. So those that we are talking about, this number of people that we are not aiming for to select, that's people who are going to receive some sort of monetary stipend since the beginning. We aim to award stipend to people who need it, who are skilled. They have some other commitments that require them to have some basic salary. It's not really like a fully fledged salary. It's just a stipend, something basic to cover your bills, to cover the expenses for people to be able to focus on the fellowship. So we are choosing the people we really believe in, that they should focus on this. And if you are not chosen, that means that you can still focus on this with your own resources. You can take your time and participate. The whole program is fully open. It's all curated in the repository. These repositories are all open in e-protocol-fellows GitHub organization, and you can see there that there are a ton of people also from the statistics from the previous cohorts. Some of them participate permissionlessly, and uh, this means the main difference is the stipend, and maybe the only difference is that you are not going to receive the stipend at first. And also, like, we with the people who are less skilled, we will require them to take more time to learn to craft their contributions before connecting them directly to the mentors and so on. So don't expect that the fellowship will give you like a direct anyone, even if you have stipend. Like, don't expect that you come to the fellowship and just talk to any mentor you want about like what should you do, that they will somehow guide you directly. It's more about your own process of learning, researching, and then you can expect, if you do some chunk of research and work, then you can expect feedback from these mentors, right? So if you're coming here permissionlessly, we need to take another look at your work, whether it's really worth for the mentors to take the time and look at this, because their time is very precious. So our goal is to make it as streamlined as possible, to use the mentors' time as efficiently as we can. So yeah, I hope I answered the question. If you can still participate, even if you haven't been chosen, and I see some similar questions as well. Feel free to choose another one, Josh. Which one is the next? Oh yeah, so yeah, I actually started this. Yeah, I mentioned this before. So for those people who just show up and demonstrate the skills, we have some budget reserved for retroactive stipends. So for those that are not chosen and believe that we are wrong for not choosing you, you can prove us wrong. You can just come and show your skills, show your contributions, and if you do a great job, you can receive the stipend that we are offering to other people as well. You will be invited to join us for a trip to Buenos Aires, and all the perks that the normal participants have basically will be awarded. So we have, like, again, we choose some people in the beginning, and then you are invited to show your skills, and you can receive the stipend as well. But again, like, don't expect that this comes only with some participation or only with, like, showing up. But you really need to do some amount of work equivalent to what the people with the stipend do, and you need to do it without the direct guidance of the mentor. You can ask for some feedback and so on, but you should demonstrate that you are able to work on this level, even without the direct help, right? Yeah.
So this question
Uh,
is,
yeah.
does experience in RStudio count as software engineering experience? I'm not familiar with R. but I don't know if
Yeah,
you are,
yeah.
Mario.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if you are working with R or maybe Mathematica or like similar, like Jupyter and similar stuff, like you might find some application in Ethereum. Like if you want to work on some sort of like data, like maybe similar something to what Tony is working on. So some sort of maybe benchmarking, data analysis. I can see that as a part of research, but it's not really core of what the fellowship is about. It can be helpful. It can be part of some project for sure. But if you don't have any other experience, if you don't have any other skills in your hands about like at least some Python programming or some other form of like low level programming, you should take the time to first like work on that. I think yeah, I think it can be helpful. I mean, R is great tool, but not like as generally applicable to the projects that we work on. Yeah, maybe for certain research.
Does contributing to ELCL and other core projects over the last few months and some years of hackathon wins, project building seem to be considered as somebody having experience in open source development?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is what we are looking for. Like, by showing us your free and open source software contributions, we can exactly see what you've been working on. We can somehow verify your skills, right? By seeing the PRs that you get merged, by seeing the project that you've built. Hackathons, sure, are great as well. So if you have this sort of experience, please share it in the application so we can review it. We can see what sort of tools or sources, what sort of stack you are using, and we'll be definitely very well informed to make a decision based on this. Yeah, if you have this sort of experience, you are the kind of people we are looking for, I believe. Yeah.
Do we have any special considerations for college students?
You're muted, I think.
Am I?
Now I hear you, but yeah,
Okay.
okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
that's
Yeah.
weird. Yeah.
I
Do we
thought you
have
were
any
answering.
special
Sorry.
considerations for college students?
Yeah, I mean, not really. Like, we take the same metric for everyone. Like, we are inviting students, skilled, developers from the industry, whoever comes and can demonstrate a skill and can demonstrate that they are able to work on this stuff. Whether you are studying college or you are experienced elsewhere, if you are self-learned, self-taught, right? If you're in the college, like even if uh, again, we are looking for somebody experienced, but I can imagine like you can have very good skills even being in the university. There are many talented hackers out there, so don't hesitate to apply. And again, like we are providing for those chosen ones, we are providing stipend, so it can be sort of like a job that you do on the side of the university. And if you are in a need of some like thesis, maybe if you are working on some sort of like semestral work, that's a project that you need to build as part of your university, that's something that you can very well connect to Ethereum Protocol Fellowship. Your EPF project can be your semestral project, your thesis. It's a 5-month long project, so it's like a whole semester worth of work there. Yeah.
Next question is it possible to edit an application that was already submitted? Um, I don't know if we actually know the answer to this question. We're using a new platform to uh, gather applications this year. So I would just suggest like following that link, and if it shows you your application and your ability to edit it, then please just do that. If not, feel free to submit a new application. That would be fine as well. Uh, Next question. Currently working on mostly theory part of encrypted mempools as an intern. Are there any future scope in this field to be part of core dev team, and what should be the future steps?
Um, Right. So I think this is a great field. Generally, if you're working on something like this, something core protocol related, it's a great step towards protocol fellowship, towards working on the similar stuff within the protocol. So, like in terms of mempool, I believe you understand the execution layer, the maybe builder API for MEV stuff. So I would say that even if encrypted mempool or something that you directly have experience with is not part of the proposed EPF projects, you can propose your own, or you can find a project that is as close to your knowledge as possible, or something that you find interesting in the relevant area. So I cannot really speak about this exact field. I don't think that we have like encrypted mempool work as a part of EPF, but if you have the familiarity with the execution, with the builder stuff, I think that's a great place to start. To look into similar projects and use your experience to build a project as part of EPF. Yeah.
Cool. This one's not a question, but I'm excited to see this here. Sam saying if you guys aren't accepted into the fellowship this time around, there's some interest in doing a community-led study group using the study group materials. Love that you're wanting to do this, and if there is some sort of community-led study group happening this summer, please let us know. Obviously we're in that Discord, so we'll probably see, but we would like to support that as much as we could.
Yeah, I would just add that as a part of the EPF, the first couple of weeks will give you time to prepare for the project, to work on a project proposal, and that's a time where you can spend a couple of weeks to diving into the study group materials, to learning more about the protocol, about the specific area that you're interested in, as Josh described in these different phases of the fellowship. So that's the first phase where you can use, and we will also together use some of the materials. And then also like to mention that there are some like independent study groups. There is a Women in Protocol group for women. There is a Spanish-speaking group. There is Chinese Mandarin-speaking group. So if you are maybe like feeling, if you want to like be part of some like more specific community, you can also find these to connect with people who might be closer to you.
Cool. Next question. Can you share more about the projects and teams? I'm interested in consensus and Panda Ops, since Panda Ops is in a client teams. Are there open ideas still valid for EPF? Definitely. I'm not sure we can share more about projects and teams. If you're interested in the projects that are being proposed by different client teams, they are in the Cohort 6 repository. There are only a few of them right now, but there should be more coming in every day. But yes, definitely Panda Ops is as close to a client team as you can get without being a client team. They touch all the different client teams and are responsible for spinning up dev nets and test nets and all of this sort of stuff. So the Panda Ops DevOps team is an integral part of the Ethereum L1 process. So yeah.
Yeah, so generally like tooling, which helps with the core protocol testing, infrastructure that's directly related with the protocol, definitely falls in this category. And PandaOps is specifically the team which came from EF DevOps to somehow split the DevOps part, which is like a generally DevOps tooling, to specifically PandaOps, which is focused on helping the protocol, the implementations, and so on. Yeah.
As flight fares and stay covered for DevConnect for all fellows. We do offer flight stipends and accommodations for those that are selected through the application process. And then for DevConnect specifically, we do invite others who have been participating permissionlessly, who have been doing good work that maybe don't quite qualify for a stipend, but we do invite them to DevConnect and pay for their accommodations and travel. Want to be clear on this, is the application only for the stipend, and if you don't get selected, you can still participate permissionlessly. Yeah, you can definitely still participate permissionlessly. Honestly, you could not even be a part of this program and just start making contributions and talking to people. that work on Ethereum. This program is more to guide you through the process of doing this in a way that benefits both you and client devs and teams and the protocol generally, right? So we want to not only provide you an avenue to be making contributions, but to do so in the best manner possible so that you're working together with devs and client teams and not sort of unintentionally adversarially by, like just DOSing them or making them spend time and effort on things that you should be able to find on your own easily. Will client teams release a list of projects? Yeah, we mentioned that before. Hopefully, they will continue to come in before the application deadline. But if you are interested in seeing some of the other projects that mentors and client teams have submitted, please see the cohorts from the previous years. There are still projects in there that have not been worked on that you could potentially select, or just generally you can get an idea of what kind of projects will come in.
Yeah, just to clarify this, like we don't really need the project ideas before the cohort actually starts, right? Like this is something just to like give you idea what kind of projects there are to work on, but you will be choosing these and diving into these later as the protocol starts, the fellowship starts. And now it's more about like learning phase to get an idea what kind of work there is. And in the application, what we want to hear is to see your own ideas, your own view of the protocol. What would you like to work on? If there is nothing proposed, right, you can show us like what kind of what parts of the protocol are you interested in, so you don't have to wait for the client teams to suggest it. And if you are waiting because you want to see what are the opportunities and there is nothing interesting later, you don't have to participate. You can still just submit an application if you're interested, and then you'll see what ideas are there if you don't want to bring your own.
Is ARG team still open for EPF? Yeah, definitely. They will have some projects, I believe, submitted, and they've already poked us about a few people that they are interested in participating this year. So ARG is definitely still on the table, and they have hired a few fellows in the past. So as far as like the different research teams go in between ARG and the crypto research and RIG, I would say ARG is probably the best opportunity for somebody who is interested in a little bit more of the research side of things to participate with.
It's a applied research group, right? So we're talking about more applied stuff where you actually do like programming, prototyping, rather than like very theoretical research. So that's why it's so fitting the fellowship scope. Yeah.
What is the end goal of the program? This is a great question. Essentially, the end goal is for us to, curate a group of contributors to Ethereum, right? We want you to be excited about making contributions, to be able to join a research team, to be able to join a client team. So, our end goal is to get people hired to client teams, to not only onboard developers to client teams, but to make, the client teams process and their lives easier by bringing them great qualified candidates, because many of the client teams are small groups of 10 or less people who work on these clients. Most of them are not large companies with big HR departments that are able to do a bunch of recruiting and find people who are interested and capable of working on Ethereum clients. So we want to bring them great people who can do great work and contribute in the manner that your typical client dev does and doesn't need a bunch of hand holding. So it's not only an opportunity for you to get to know how to be a client dev, but it's an opportunity for us to bring a pool of people to different client teams.
Like just to summarize it, maybe what we are or from your perspective, what it should be the goal to end up working in the core protocol, whether part-time, full-time, or somehow independently working with a client team, stay and contribute towards their efforts. So become a core developer in the long run, right?
A note has been asked in the Discord group. Can you tell more about proof of concept based work not part of current CLEL tooling like Beam Chain, and how does that align with EPF? Does contributions to Beam help? I'm gonna let you take that one since you've kind of been chatting with Justin, Mario.
Yeah, definitely. Like, generally, like that's contribution to Beam help. Like, if you have existing contribution, it's a great signal. Again, like with all of the what we mentioned, like free and open source and Ethereum related contributions are definitely a strong signal for us that you have the necessary skills and knowledge to work on the more core protocol stuff. And regarding the Beam clients, like we are waiting for the people from Beam and Justin and so on to propose some specific projects. But you can expect some, I would say, some sort of prototyping work or something similar, which would be the scope would be the 4-month project, whether in for an individual or for a small team of 2-3 people. So this is generally what you can expect with the EPF projects. I hope that answers the question. There will be, or if you have, your own idea, you can bring, of course. But again, like Beam is something which is fairly new, something which is like more on the research side rather than like the current pragmatic issue that clients team need help with. So even if there is a project, it will be, like a minority of the cohort. There will be maybe some few people working on it, but most of the projects will be touching the current infrastructure that's needs to be worked on. Yeah.
Cool. I think that I guess we have one more question here. Would like to know why this project chooses contributions to client teams and not other teams. Uh, Not really sure what other teams you'd be referring to. I have to expect that you're talking about different application teams or people who are not working on core clients. Uh, but the Protocol Fellowship is meant to bring contributors to the layer one uh, infrastructure. And yeah, cool. I think that brings us to our hour. If you have further questions, please feel free to join the ETH R&D Discord server and ask us questions in the Protocol Fellowship channel. Either that, or you can join the study group Discord server and ask questions there in the EPF channel. We are frequently in those two Discord servers, so please feel free to ask if you have any further questions. Otherwise, please submit your applications by the 30th of April, and we look forward to having a great EPF6, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you around the protocol.
Thank you so much, everyone. Good luck.